So the United States spends approximately 18% of its GDP on healthcare, most of which is spent on the private sector. Compare this with the fact that the OECD average is around 10%, with Switzerland as some second in terms of cost based on GDP, with approximately 12%, obviously 12% of their GDP. That's what they spend on healthcare. Their system is similar to ours, however, they're unique in that they have universality. Obviously, they have their own form of a federal mandate. I'm pretty sure that was recently repealed by the Trump administration. And obviously, they have nonprofit healthcare providers. And just before I get to the question, why the healthcare industry is unique, obviously it has extremely inelastic demand, and also healthcare by nature will always be somewhat expensive due to how high maintenance it is in terms of cost of medical equipment, paying for experienced and trained staff, etc. To put it shortly, it is not like other sectors with inelastic demand, such as food, obviously another necessity. And obviously, I already know what your opinion is. I used to be a fan of yours. So why ought the United States not switch to a universal system if healthcare that is either quasi-public and private, whether that be a more extreme single-payer system or a more moderate private system such as Switzerland, or semi-private public system such as Switzerland?
Right. So, I mean, I've said this before, and I'm sure if you were a fan and you actually listened to what I'd said about this topic, then what you would hear is that basically I think that the two best options in this particular area are, if you're going to have a government-involved system, it should look like Switzerland. Switzerland is the one that I've recommended. If you're not going to have a government-run system, then it should be a much more free market system. And the basic rubric that you have to use to examine healthcare is that there are three basic things that you can have. Right? Have you heard the spiel before?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've heard the spiel, right?
Universality, affordability, and quality.
Correct.
However, actually, according to the rankings, United Kingdom is an example. France actually has higher quality and higher affordability, and they have universality, while the United States doesn't compare.
No, because
on
they're
either of
measuring.
those
Okay,
things.
so first of all, the measurements when it comes to quality, it depends on the measurement that you are using. If you take away, for example, in the United States, the car wrecks and if you take away, I think the statistic is that if you take away car wrecks and the way that we mention it and the way that we measure infant mortality in the United States, we actually do rank number 1 in life expectancy. So the United States is a lot more diverse first of all, than a lot of other countries that are mentioned in the context of life expectancy and healthcare provision. But it is also true that the United States' healthcare system is wildly underrated in terms of the sort of quality care that it can provide, particularly when it comes to things like cancer. So emergency care in universal systems is really good.